Don't try and run now. Don't run now. Oh, you like to steal? You like to steal? We gonna beat your ass. Coming up next on the Corner Prison Talk Show, the pod thief gets his ass beat down for stealing. Stay tuned, y'all. What up, what up, what up? We are back. Who am I? Jersey Street Corner, and this is the Prison Talk Show, people. Alright, y'all. Without further ado, I'm gonna get right into it. This story time is gonna be about a pod thief who gets stomped to death over a little bit of marijuana. Yeah, y'all heard me right, y'all. He gonna get stomped out over weed. Alright, y'all. So, this story is about a guy named Two-Face. Now, they call him that because he could act like your boy one day and be right up in your locker the next day while you out at the yard or mess hall. Two-Face was known, he was a known resident thief. He was, regularly getting his ass beat for stealing. Any pod they sent them to, any normal person might just stop stealing. But Two-Face was on drugs. And he was bad. He had a crazy habit. And if he don't get it, he gonna get sick. Two-Face never went to mess hall. You know how fiends don't be eating like that? Nah, Two-Face, he went around scratching all day long, looking for the next bag, literally. He casually walked by cells to see if anybody left anything, worth anything valuable out on the bed or the table. He don't care if it's a TV, a radio. Man, if you had a pair of designer shoes, Two-Face was taking that. Stamps, soups, soap, candy, tobacco, even state boots if they was crispy. This man would take a mirror off your wall if you leave him alone long enough. That's just the kind of guy he was. Now, in every prison, in every pod you get locked in, you will have crash outs. Y'all say, what's a crash out, Corner? That's somebody who's willing to do any damn thing to anybody, damn near, to be in the gang's good graces. So, it just so happens the Crips had 2 new recruits. They've been putting in work for the set, learning all the rules and doing what they're supposed to do. So the OGs of that set had one more test for these 2 prospects. If they passed, they was in. This is what they did, y'all. They went to each of their lockers and took items out and stashed them, hid it, made sure it was obvious somebody went in their locker boxes. These was young boys. They went to classes for GED during the day, so when they came back and noticed, everyone said it must have been Two-Face. This was the test they wanted to see the young boys if they was going to crash out on their own or if they came running to the Crips for help and direction. So, immediately, the 2 young boys, like I said, they've been putting in work. They wasn't going for it. Immediately, they hunting. They looking all over for Two-Face, y'all. Now, it's known that Two-Face likes to take stuff and then he'll go and trade it off or sell it. You know what I mean? So he can get what he really want, which is that bag of dope. Now, the first thing the young boys will do will go questioning people. They going all over the pod trying to see if Two-Face done traded their items out to them. Now, of course, Two-Face been trading items, but who says it was their stuff? But that's all they needed. They needed to hear, yeah, Two-Face came over here with a couple of soups earlier this morning. I gave him some stamps for it. Then somebody else would say, yeah, Two-Face brought me some stamps. I gave him, I traded him a tray for it. And somebody else would say, yeah, Two-Face came over to me, said, here, trade me this tray that somebody owe him. All he want is a bag of trees. Now, Young boy's like, all right, listen, there's too much back and forth. Obviously, this is all pointing back to Two-Face. They was tired of asking everybody questions, y'all. At this point, they're like, all right, listen, we just need to go find Two-Face. Now, you can smell the smell of marijuana coming out of the back bathrooms. That's where everybody went to go smoke at. So they follow that trail to the back bathroom. They said Two-Face copped him a bag of trees. So now they approaching the bathrooms and they smell it. They're like, all right, this dude gotta be up in here. They get in there and they see Two-Face in there just choking it down, y'all. He putting it in the air. Now, sometimes, that's what people that like downers, they'll do. They'll smoke a little trees if they can't get a hold of what they're really looking for, because that'll keep them on a mellow, type of mood. Now, they go in there and they're like, hey, yo, Two-Face, let me holler at you for a minute. I got to ask you something. So Two-Face go on over there, and he don't know what's going on. He like, hey, what's going on, y'all? Hey, y'all want to hit this? Y'all want to hit this real quick? I copped a little bud. If y'all want to hit it. They smacked that shit out of his hands. And we don't want no bud, nigga. You was in our locker? How dare you disrespect us? How dare you go up in our locker? You know who we beat? Big C's up in here. They commenced to grabbing him and whooping his ass in that bathroom, y'all. Stomping him out. I mean, stomping him out. Boom, boom, boom. That's all you hear is his head hitting the wall. I swear I ain't do it. It wasn't me. Please don't do this. I would never steal from y'all. He trying his best to squirm free while they smacking him up and gut checking him. Two-Face crying and spitting teeth out. Stop. Oh, stop. Oh, damn. Stop. Please stop. They not trying to hear none of that, y'all. Them young boys pull the pokers out and start to jigging Two-Face. Bow, bow, bow. Stop it. I ain't do it. I ain't do it, man. They slicing his face. Bet you won't steal again. Smacking. Bow. I bet you won't do it again. I ain't do it, man. I ain't do nothing. They still jigging him. All on the side, the back. Yeah, they getting them, y'all. They getting them good. Now, somebody ran up in the bathroom. What y'all doing? Hey, it's people coming. It's COs coming. Y'all better get up out of here. Leave that nigga alone. Leave him alone. It's somebody coming. Everybody starts scurrying, y'all. They like, damn. People in the bathroom looking. They did him dirty, y'all. We got to get up out of here. We don't want no parts of that. Hell nah. They gonna try and pin this on us. Everybody bounce. Now, nobody wanted to say it, but the young boys, they just did what the majority of people in that pod have been wanting to do for a long, long time. Two-Face have been hitting all of their lockers randomly, and nobody could prove it, but they knew it was him. He was the only fiend in the pod that was down to do something dirty like that. Take your belongings. So, Two-Face wasn't getting no help, y'all. Wasn't nobody gonna go tell the CEOs that Two-Face needed help and none of that. He had maybe one or two friends up in there that, actually rocked with him that he didn't steal from. But aside from them, it wasn't nobody going out of their way to try and help Two-Face. Nobody cared whether Two-Face bled out in that bathroom or not. And that's the repercussions of being a thief. Plain and simple. If you go through life taking stuff, you will be punished. One day, most likely by your peers. And if you in prison, That's the wrong place to have that habit of being a thief. So when they was done, y'all, Two-Face was knocked out. He wasn't even moving. He was like, I guess you might as well say lifeless, because he was just laying there in a pool of his own blood. Now, they ran up out of there, y'all. Ran up out of there, went and changed their clothes, all of that. Made it seem like they ain't had nothing to do with it. Then y'all, they call a code. Somebody snitched. Somebody said something was going on back in that bathroom stall, in that shower, and they alerted the guards. Guards came in, took Two-Face up out of there on the stretcher, y'all. Two-Face still wasn't moving. Crips, they told the young boys, like, y'all did good. Y'all did good, but, we gotta tell you something. This was the last test. Y'all made it. Y'all in. But only thing is, dude didn't do that. It was a test. We got all y'all items over here. We just wanted to see what y'all was gonna do if y'all, found out somebody went in y'all lockers. But we ain't think y'all was gonna do them dirty like that. Now the young boys, they sit in their cells. They thinking like, damn, we might get caught. We might get caught. And it wasn't even him. They just stomped this man out, y'all. Stomped him within an inch of his life. He's struggling for his life right now. Had to get airlifted out of there. And he ain't even the one that did the stealing. It was all a test. They got cameras in these joints, y'all. The cameras saw the young boys go in the bathroom, saw them run out of the bathroom. For this assault, these young boys are probably facing street charges, and they better hope that Two-Face makes it. They better hope that he stays alive, because if they catch that charge, you talking about they're gonna add another 15 to 20 on top of whatever you was doing. Immediately, y'all, after their little investigation, they come on in there, lock the young boys up. They going right back to the hole, y'all. Nobody talking, though. Nobody telling who did what. Nobody saw nothing. So as long as they can't put it together, they might be all right. Them young boys ended up sitting back in lockup for almost a year, until finally they had to let them out because they couldn't prove they did it. And they accomplished their goal. They were now Crips. And wasn't nobody gonna do nothing about it. Two-Face never came back to that prison. And they ended up putting him in some kind of rehab situation, because it was getting to the point where he was so bad off, with the stealing and getting sick, he couldn't be in regular population no more around people. They had to get him up out of there for real. Excuse me, y'all. So, I guess the moral of this story is, sometimes you might want to get clarification and get all your ducks in a row before you go beating up on people and accusing people of doing stuff that didn't even do it. Those young boys spent almost a year in lockup. That's dead time. That's time that don't count toward their charge, toward their sentence. So they just spent almost an extra year in jail for no reason. Just to get in the gang. And well, I guess if it means that much to you, then hey, by all means, do you. Otherwise, just do your bid, man. Do your damn bid and don't be a crash out. Listen, if you like stories like this, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Y'all already know the vibes. It's your boy JS Corner. This is the Prison Talk Show. And with that, I'm going to get on up out of here. Peace out.